Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and it's Monday. I hate Mondays, you hate Mondays, and if I'm elected president in 2020, I will make Mondays illegal. Today especially sucked because late last night I appear to have broken a bone in my toe, potentially. I say potentially because I don't know about your country, but here you cannot afford to go get an x-ray of your foot under any circumstances. Oh, especially since I was off of work today, obviously, and I probably will be for 6 weeks. Honestly, I think I'll just quit. I was only supposed to be there till like October. Anyway, we do have some good news. There was another Pioneer ban announcement because, duh, it's Monday. So Mr. Ian, always looking down dramatically and sadly in his profile picture for some reason, Duke, told us today that 3 cards are being banned. That's right, 3 cards, and that's after, I believe, a 0 and 0 the last 2 Mondays. They said, yeah, it's in a pretty good place, but as they put it, over the last several days, a few Pioneer PTQs, which is the Pro Tour qualifier. First of all, Pro Tour and Pioneer. Although he does say they were Magic Online, so maybe, I don't know, maybe Magic Online has their own Pro Tours. I don't know, I don't play it. Whatever the hell is going on, they say they were held as part of Magic Online's Pioneer Week. The results of these tournaments and data from League play, which League I know is like a recurring ranked tournament thing on online, they show how the environment has evolved under further competitive pressure. And that makes sense. People just playing whatever they want because it's fun versus people playing highly competitive stuff for prizes and for, I guess, Pro Tour qualifications. That's a different story. Then people are just going to play whatever the most powerful deck in their opinion is. Because it's not about fun or enjoyable gameplay, it's about winning, because, you know, prizes, duh. So they had some of that pushing the meta, and they say, while the results look promising and changes so far have been moving the format in a good direction, our data shows 3 outstanding issues that are preventing the metagame from arriving at a better balance. So in other words, 3 deck archetypes, or 3 decks specifically, are dominating the format, and they're killing all 3 of them, which, I mean, there you go. That has been my advice for how to manage Modern the whole time. Take all of Tier 1, about 4 years ago, FYI, and just ban everything. Nothing could get past those obnoxious decks, nothing could meet them in power, and a lot of them didn't resemble normal Magic gameplay. They're repetitive, boring, and use one win con. Not to mention being able to be piloted by a chimpanzee. So my advice back then was to just take all of Tier 1 and ban it. I know that would have pissed off several million people and destroyed several tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars worth of value, but it would fix the format. You can't really argue with that. But when it comes to historic, I mean, there's not a lot of value there, and they already warned people multiple times, stuff's gonna change, so don't get too invested, like, literally. So the whole Tier 1 right now, absolutely banned across the board. I love it. Although, disclaimer, they're banning individual cards from them, the decks might still be playable but less powerful. So, number 1, the strength of mono black aggro and aggressive decks featuring Smuggler's Copter. So, Smuggler's Copter is banned. Wow! The last horse finally crosses the line after everybody everywhere said, why don't you pre-ban Smuggler's Copter? It's not like, oh, the deck it was in was too good. It's just the card was a disastrous mistake. The card in a vacuum is too good. Nope, those geniuses were like, let's wait and see. I mean, Ron Forsyth, by the way, specifically. He said that in an interview live. Let's wait and see. Maybe it won't be a problem. Well, fast forward, 5 weeks? It's a problem. Bye-bye, Smuggler's Copter. And kudos to anybody who had some and sold them knowing that it was on an absolute death watch timer. Hey, speaking of cards that in a vacuum by themselves are too unstoppable and too powerful, Field of the Dead is banned. Gee, you think? I mean, that's probably the most, like, facepalm shaking my head, like, idiotic, no, let's not wait and see from the community out of any card. I mean, they just banned it in Standard for being an unstoppable problem with no answers. There are no answers and you can't stop it in Historic either. Or not Historic, Pioneer, whatever the hell this is. I probably already called it Frontier a couple times already. So they say, Field of the Dead ramp decks are suppressing, controlling, and reactive decks. I don't know if there was supposed to be a comma there because they're suppressing and controlling reactive decks, or if they're suppressing decks that are reactive and controlling. I mean, they put an and after controlling. I think they actually think that Field of the Dead is stopping control decks. I mean, I guess all the board wipes in the world won't do it. Counterspell doesn't do anything. I mean, they're not wrong. It's just Field of the Dead goes in control ramp stall decks. And the third one, the general prevalence and dominance of green decks, let me just add, still, as a group, with Once Upon a Time being a key common factor to those decks' success. So Once Upon a Time, also banned. Well, if you're gonna ban Once Upon a Time, how about you ban Collected Company too? That's a way worse card. Like, way worse. I'm still pissed that Collected Company was never banned from Standard. So anyway, we believe these changes will result in greater diversity among aggressive decks, a clearer role in the metagame for reactive and controlling decks, and a push towards better color balance among competitive decks. Yeah, from what I heard, there's like entire colors that are unplayable in any format in Magic. That's not good. What they should do is enforce a turn 5 limit, where, in Modern, they say if a deck consistently wins faster than on turn 4, we will ban it. They have said that multiple times. What they should do in Pioneer is make it turn 5. So any deck that consistently wins on turn 4 or earlier, ban it, because that just turns into whoever goes first wins, and there's not anywhere near the number of slowdown answers, early game kill, one-cost disruption stuff that there is available in Modern. So you can't let it go to turn 4, or that's all people will play. That or a 90% control deck, which could realistically stop that. Oh, and are you ready to get really pissed off? This weekly rapid iteration of the banned list in the early days of Pioneer as an alternative to launching the format with a pre-populated ban list has been an interesting and positive experiment thus far. No, it has not. Look at the ban list. Look at how everybody was screaming at you that these are going to be a problem, and then everybody was 100% accurate with that. The entire community knew better than you, and you screwed this up. Nobody wanted to see these cards in any play format ever again. I don't know what the hell you think succeeded with this experiment, but let's try the alternative. If they would have pre-populated the ban list with like 20 cards, we would be left with almost no toxic cards. Okay, cool. A bunch of slower, weaker, easier to beat, fairer decks. Okay, I'm on board with that. Probably a higher diversity right off the bat, because nothing would be an outlier of like, wow, I'm going to rebuild that because it was so broken when it was in Standard. And the only downside would be 20 less deck options. Oh no, as if there aren't 1,000 more to choose from. So no, dumb strategy, dumb experiment, you all were wrong. Thanks for proving us all in the community right, and proving once again we all know better than you. So we've been able to use real world data and results to arrive at what we believe is a smaller and more accurate ban list. But who cares? If you accidentally ban something before anybody can play it, who cares? Where's the consequence? Where's the oopsie? Who cares? There are no consequences. Oh no, somebody could have played this deck. It doesn't matter, there are hundreds more to choose from. There are way more drastic consequences for not banning a problematic card than there are for banning a card that may have not been a problem. This was their one chance to pre-ban cards without pissing anyone off, and they didn't take it. Now every single week they're going to piss a small portion of people off and make a portion of people rebuild their decks. So they're ripping that band-aid off as slowly and as painfully as they possibly can. What a great idea. So our plan remains to slow the pace of changes as we approach the new year, and we hope to sync up Pioneer changes with the regularly scheduled banner restricted announcements for all formats starting early next year. That'll be too early. After that time, we expect the frequency of changes in Pioneer to be closer to that of other non-rotating formats. In other words, not often or aggressive enough. Cool, well at least we got rid of 3 shitty cards that everybody hates. I'll see you guys next ban announcement.